Hi everyone, welcome to Deadline Dilemmas, brought to you by Fantasy Football Scout. Praz, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very well. I'm trying to see if we're live because I'm on the YouTube and
Is
I
it
don't see
still
it.
not showing you? I think there's like a slight delay before it.
Okay,
Let me
yeah,
double.
yes. I'm doing very well. I see that you were on FPL therapy cheating on me with Ross, and it was very nice, I have to say. Like anyone who's not checked it out, I think you were superb, I thought. And one my takeaway from the whole thing was I don't let you speak enough.
No, not at all. You do, to be fair. It's just the way it works out. No, you do, Praz. Thank you. And thank you for the nice comments. It was lovely to be on the show, actually. I really enjoyed our discussion with Ross. So, yeah, thoroughly enjoyable. I'm glad. Thank you for the positive feedback. I'm glad you enjoyed it as well.
No, it was a very good mix of football and FPL, which honestly, like, when I go, if anyone asks me a question, I'm like, let's just get to the FPL. Do you want to buy him or not buy him? What I enjoyed listening to you guys was there was a good, healthy amount of football discussion, and in the context of football, there was FPL discussion. So that was good. That was good. So
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I'll be on there on Monday as well. So I won't be
That's
offered
why
with you,
you're mentioning
but
it. Okay.
no, it was good. It was good. Now I'm
Yeah, it was
mentioning it
good.
so that I can give you more opportunity to basically express the free flowing thoughts that you had on Monday.
No, it was very good. Now, thank you, and I'm be excited to see you on there. I did know actually he was going to be on there for the
Hmm.
final episode of the season. So, how are you feeling anyway, Price? Regarding 2 more game weeks, man, we're nearly done. The season is nearly finished.
See, I see a lot of people saying we're done, like we're ready for it to be over. Like even my pod partner, like Zoff, was like, "Oh, I'm on the beach, man. I'm done. Like I don't care." And I can understand it. In my case, like I've had a lot of positive variance this year. So I'm like, yeah, man, keep going. Let's keep going. Although having said that, like last 10 to 12 weeks, I think I've been average in terms of lucky or unlucky. Like I don't think I've been unlucky or lucky. I've been okay. But part of that is that I've basically my team has been fairly template since wildcard 31. But I didn't mind that, right? So that was me dead ending my team to basically the season end. So maybe I'll live to regret it that I won't finish in the top 1K. But frankly, I don't care. Like, the season
how,
has been fun.
how far away are you actually? Just
At-
asking.
I'm 30 points off 1K. That's a lot.
That is a lot, but it's one of the questions I actually had for you later on, which is going to be perfect. So I'm gonna save that one because I've got similar scenario with that for 2 game weeks, no chips, and
Hmm.
I'm chasing mini leagues, not top 1K, unfortunately.
Yeah,
But
right now every answer is the same. Like I get comments on Twitter like, should I sell Isak for Watkins or shall I do Mateta to what? Should I take a hit? The answer to every question is they are okay moves in principle, but are you okay with the risk? Because you're taking a lot
yeah,
of risk if you're selling Isak, if you're selling Salah for Palmer. You're basically what you're saying is I can either half my rank or I can double my rank. And if you're okay with that, cool. Like do it. Like right now, there's no bad move. You can sell any player and you can buy any player. It's not a bad move. You want a captain Shade, go for it. So that's where we are.
and okay, so you've already gone there. So let me ask you my question. So you're say 30 points away, which is with no chips very difficult to be honest, especially
Yeah.
at that time so congested. Are you going to attempt to bridge that gap, or no? You're going to play your normal game for the next 2 game weeks and done.
The problem is that I have a difficulty going or being different for the sake of being different, right? There's one thing to say, okay, I'm going to go risk, I'm going to take extra risk. And so I thought when I was planning my moves, if you remember, even before Watkins played the last game, I tweeted, Watkins, can you please play more than 75 minutes? Because
Yeah.
my concern is with minutes. Otherwise, I'm buying you and captaining you. It was done. And this was decided weeks ago, right? That Watkins could even have had a double this week or in 36. So it was always the plan to get Watkins. It was why I didn't want to have triple up on Villa on my wildcard. So it was always the plan. But now this really nice niche move of going Mateta to Watkins has become the mass move, and now he's going to be 80-90% owned. I'm not saying it's because of me, but I'm just saying now it feels like, okay, I'm making the move, but I'm making the move which is the move everyone is making. So it doesn't feel different, even though I think Watkins will be under 70-80% EO, which is still due. If you're captaining him, that's a lot of positive upside. What about you? Like, what is your objective and how will you achieve it?
So it's perfect because I'm gonna go to my team and we're gonna discuss that as well. So let me tell you. So I'm in the wrong screen. Apologies. I want to. So I will tell you. So rank wise, I'm not really too fast. 2 more game weeks. I'm not going to make much gains if I'm totally honest with you. But mini leagues, believe it or not, there's still 2 mini leagues that there is. I do want to win them. I'm not going to try to sit here and don't. One of them, I think 15 points, which is realistic. One of them's near 30 points, like you said. That is much more unrealistic. No chips. I've got no chips. He has got no chips either.
Yeah.
Similar team. So to answer your question, that's all I want to achieve. If I can get those 2 mini leagues, I will enjoy my summer, honestly. But I'm not quite sure. We're going to discuss that with my team, as you can see on the screen there, how I can bridge a gap like that, whether it's even realistic. Now, I will say this to you, Pras. I have before done something crazy, but it's so rare, it's unreal. That's why I talk about it like folklore. I can't remember what it was. I think it was that Harry Kane. Did he score a hat-trick or 4 goals against Leicester?
4. And that was part of a double game week, I think.
Something like, I can't remember, but that week I made a ridiculous gain and won my flew up. So very rare.
You mean in game week 38? Okay, I don't remember.
Yeah,
maybe that was a hat trick. Kane scored a lot of hat tricks, so I forget.
Yeah, but it was something like that. It was a last minute one. I think once I done Mane, he scored 2 goals. So I have achieved random stuff like that. And I'm going to go for it is the question. But we're going to discuss that in my team here. Do you think that's feasible? 30 points.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example. Firstly, actually, before we go there, let's say hello to everybody in the chat. I can see hello, Davies, Ron Cupboard, Attaboy, Ron John, FPL Stinky, Claire, FPL Freddy, Tommy, Shax, Chat Sport, Tanky. So thank you for joining. So can you make it? Let me give you an example. Oscar, FPL Foco, was like 23 points behind me coming into the last game week. He had Eze and he had Wan-Bissaka. Other than that, our team was the same.
Yeah.
And he's now 2 points ahead of me. So that's, he didn't do anything different. He was not trying to chase me, obviously.
No.
But what I'm trying to say is, what we sometimes forget is our whole team that we've accumulated over the months that lead to game week 37 can also score points, right? There are also certain picks that you have conviction on, like looking at your team, Ilanga, right? It's not very, he's not very popular. Milenkovic could score a bullet header, get 15 pointer, and that's it. You've made up the gap. So I guess you don't need to necessarily force it as such. And so I think it's you should try, but when it's an EO related goal, you can just say, look, let's see if there's one more week that I can get lucky. And if you don't, then in the game week 38, you go for whoever everybody's not going to captain. And then you just hope.
And does it have to be a player, basically, someone that my mini league rival doesn't even own? So I've got a captain, a player that he doesn't even own potentially.
Ideally, because captaincy is the best. You get 1 transfer out of 11 players that you will put out. How much can that influence? But in terms of captaincy, you can get 2 players, so that gives you 2x. And if it's somebody who they don't own, then that's 2x of somebody. Now, obviously, the counter is they also own somebody. They will also captain somebody. So it's not like, there's no easy way to bridge the gap. All you're doing is you're saying, if my team, let's say you and me, you're trying to catch me 20 points. 10 of our players are the same. If I'm buying this week Watkins, you do Salah to Palmer and you captain Palmer. So at least now we are not doing the same move. So the divergence between you and me cannot be 0. It has to be plus or minus 20 points or even 40 if you think that Palmer or Watkins can score 20 points. So you've just increased your variance. And in basically layman terms, you are hoping to get lucky.
Yeah, but then, like you said, you have to own it because things could go really wrong. I could end up 50 points behind him. I mean, 3rd or 4th place in the mini league, which is quite painful. But I'm willing to take. I am willing to take that risk, Pras. So I think I will be going for it. And I'm going to share with you some of my moves. Okay, and just before we jump into my team, that Oscar, how lucky was that Wan-Bissaka? I mean, the Eza one, I'll take it, but the Wan-Bissaka one, oof.
No, come on. I mean, I think I didn't expect a clean sheet, but Wan-Bissaka has been very attacking. So I think anyone who has him, fair play. Like I think he's. I played. So my son obviously takes advice on his team. He's doing terribly this year, but he takes advice. So he was asking me, should I play Wan-Bissaka or should I play, this Livramento or whatever? And I was like, no, man, play Wan-Bissaka. So in some way, I can say that if I had Wan-Bissaka, I'd have also played him. It was a good fixture to play him.
Yeah, no, it was again. Well, it's because they played Manchester United. So all
So that's
players become very good playing against your boys. So
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. There's already some questions coming into the chat, so we'll try to interplay your questions with the teams that we have, and if we miss some, then
yeah,
we'll do it at the end.
that's a good shout. Let's get straight into my team. So before I read it out, I've got one free transfer and I've got £3.2 million in the bank. So I'm feeling rich. In theory, I should be able to get to most players, apart from Haaland, easily. In goal, I've got Raya, which, by the way, I'm going to say straight away, I regret big time not playing Areola last week. That was my biggest
Why?
regret, you know. I,
Did they not have
to
higher
me,
clean sheet odds?
I think who Arsenal.
Yeah,
I don't think Arsenal against Liverpool. Did
I
they?
think
I mean, did they?
I think it was like 19%, 17%, something like that.
Maybe it's hindsight then. Maybe what it is easy. That decision, you look at it after and you think you're playing Manchester United. And having said that, Manchester United XG in that game was actually decent. But still, I did look at that decision after and questioned it. I was thinking, really, against Liverpool at Anfield?
Yeah,
Come
but
on.
look at Liverpool now. Like, do you have faith? Like everybody's saying, "Oh, Liverpool's on the beach. They were doing this. They were doing the same thing in the last week," and Arsenal really turned up in the second half. That could have been the game where Arsenal basically really turned up in 90 minutes, and then you get a Raya 12-pointer. These things don't bother me at all. Like it's fine, man.
No, I'm not going to beat myself up too much,
Yeah.
but I'll be honest with you. The one thing when I looked at my team, I was like, why didn't I? But as I said, maybe it's easy to say that decision. And so Raya in goal, not the greatest fixture. He's got the starting position. 3-man defense in Munoz, Milenkovic, and Vodio. Okay, so that's not too bad. 5-man midfield currently. So in Bumo, Mohamed Salah, Elanga, Eza, the superstar, and Rogers. Up front is Isak and Wissa. On the bench, I've gone for Areola, Mateta, first sub. Konsa, your boy there. And last on the bench is Saliba.
Firstly, switch over Konsa to Milenkovic immediately.
You see, I knew you was going to say that. I knew
I'm joking.
You're not saying it. Oh, so you're actually joking this time. Because last week you said
let's
it
look at
and
the
I
clean sheet
regretted
odds.
it, you know. Yeah.
But Konsa got you clean sheet, didn't he?
I didn't play him.
Also, I made you swap. No, I wouldn't have told you not to.
You've never done that. No, it was.
Still.
I don't know if you saw one. I said something funny enough. What
I know on the Eze captaincy.
No, but also the 5%, 95% prize. You've been right, and I've ignored it. No, I don't want that one.
No. I would say I've been right. I've been right 50%. 95 is way too generous.
No.
I mean,
but
these are coin flips, so you will be right 50%.
But unfortunately, I benched Konza and Rogers. Yeah, but so
I did as well.
So let's actually we target that this week here for Aston Villa straight away. So 32% clean sheet odds. All right. Goal scoring wise, it's looking very good. Hence why Watkins is the poster boy for this game week. 2.6, 3 goals predicted. So, and then versus, so we're talking Konza versus Milenkovic while we're on defense. The data for Milenkovic, where is it? 27%. Now, Nottingham Forest recently, if we're including form, they've really started to let things go, haven't they? They started to panic. Looks like the Champions League might be. What do you reckon? Do you reckon they're going to get there or no?
I'm hoping for it because I think the Chelsea Forest game could be a draw, right? And if that's a draw, then Villa win their next 2 and then they could make it. So, I mean, of course, if Chelsea win both their games, then it's not in Villa's hands. And I think Newcastle have made it, unless they lose to Arsenal, which I don't expect. I expect a draw. Having said that, if I expect a draw, why am I playing Raya? Well, it could be 0-0. So I think Villa have a good chance.
That one, I'm still not sure. That one, I'm on. This is how I've got it at the moment. My thinking there is surely that they revert Milenkovic and Nottingham Forest. They tighten up at the back. It's so big. You saw the pressure on them with their owner running onto the pitch. Did you see the owner?
I did, but now it's been clarified. I'm gonna sound like the guy standing up for the owner, but I'm not doing that. What I'm saying is it has now been clarified. Whether that is true or not, he was basically pissed off with the medical department, not the manager. Like originally people thought he's pissed off with Nuno. And people were like, what the hell? He's got to Europe. Why are you shouting at him? He was pissed off with the medical department because Auni wanted to stay on, or the medical department said he wanted to stay on, which is poor, right? I mean, they were down to 10 men because of that, because they could not make the sub for Auni because they used somebody else instead.
I think there's a bit of good PR there to try and rescue the owner.
Maybe,
I'm not disputing it. I think there's a little bit because he did look like he was having a go, and you would be frustrated because this is the one fixture against Leicester. you think, come on, man, let's take these points here, give us the best opportunity. And they did flop it. So that frustration there. And speaking of that, what you just said, that offside rule does have to change though. When it's that blatant, I'm not sure
But
about
again,
it does.
okay.
It frustrates
I
me.
have a
Doesn't
view
it
on this
frustrate
also.
you?
It
Okay,
frustrates
go on.
me. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Again, I'm going to be a little contrarian here. The reason that rule exists, that the linesman shouldn't put his flag up, is when they're not sure. Because
Yeah.
imagine now, okay, there is the counter side which you've just stated, where okay, player gets injured, what happens? Now imagine the linesman puts his flag up, and the player basically went and took a shot anyway, scored, right? Goal not counted. You check the VAR, and he was actually onside. But you cannot give the goal because the flag had been put up. Maybe the goalkeeper had seen the flag. You will
Yeah.
never be
Yeah.
sure. So you cannot give the goal. So the reason the linesman has been told to put his flag up if he's not sure is basically because they want to avoid situations where later you find out that it was actually onside and you were wrong. So they've been told, have a high margin, have a high bar if you're going to flag for offside. Do you watch cricket at all?
No. So
Okay.
I won't go. That's the one.
S-
Unfortunately, I don't.
So in cricket, they've introduced basically what was called a third umpire, which basically used to you have to see if you're run out or not. Okay, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
I know
But for
run
people
out.
who,
Yeah, when you get to
yeah,
the line. Yeah, I know. But
so
I'm not
so
that
when you
bad.
get to the line, so originally umpires used to basically be really good, really vigilant about
Yeah.
the line, and used to get really tight calls. Of course, they used to make some mistakes. They're human, but after the third umpire came, they just said, you know what, we're just every time we're going to do this, we don't care, like we don't even need to look closely. And that's what I mean for the linesman. If the linesman's been told that just put your flag up only when you're 100% sure, otherwise don't stop the play, that's what he's been told. So I don't know how you'd change that. Would you not be fuming if you scored a 95th minute goal which the linesman put his flag up but actually turns out he was onside?
I'm in agreement with everything you said. Two things though. First of all, that one was pretty obvious, I thought personally, but I know in the speed of the game, if the referee or the linesman said after the game, actually, I still wasn't sure, then fair play. But when
Yeah,
it's that obvious, just end the game.
fair.
I've seen it many times
Then
where
that is
defenders have,
incompetence.
yeah, because I've been seeing it many times where defenders, not even just, that's an extreme scenario, and that's quite rare to be fair, an injury that severe. But there are ones where you're still sprinting full power, where you could pop a hamstring. And then
Yeah.
you find out, you look over it and you're like, oh, it's offside. That's frustrating. And the second thing I want to say on this, if it does reach that stage, like your sort of cricket sort of scenario, then do we even need linesmen? We just need a screen or a light that's green
Yeah,
or red
that's what we will have.
instantaneously.
That's
We
what we will
will.
have
It
eventually.
will be, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just going to be a immediate automatic red light that goes off if the players. Now the problem with that is ultimately, no matter what technology you have to still have a technology that assesses when was the pass made to this player which was off. So it's very easy to know if you're off, if you're the last man or not, but it's very difficult to know when do you count this from the point when the pass was made. But they'll figure it out.
I got a feeling they're going to figure that out. With the
Yeah.
things that we're doing in this world, that should be easy.
They'll figure it out.
Matter of time before we see that in the Prem. All right, let me get back to my team. So that's the reason, that long explanation is the reason Milenkovic is currently starting and Konsa's on the bench. I could change that before deadline, okay? Midfield is, I think, pretty template apart from Isak compared to Sarr. And Rodgers, the talking point here, Rodgers starting ahead of Mateta. But this is before my transfer, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Up front, Isak
Rodgers is
and
good,
Wissa.
man.
Rodgers is good this year. Yeah, Rodgers is good. Although my only, again, this is completely useless and it's not FPL, but I never really get his points, Praz. I'll be honest with you. When I play him, you know that thing. I think a lot of people have dodged these points this season.
You play Rodgers next 2 weeks and don't worry about it.
And hopefully enjoy the points. I really hope so. So one free transfer, and I was speaking to you before, the obvious move, and you are right. It's almost, even when you said it weeks ago, before it became the obvious move, Watkins to Mateta, okay? It seems like a straightforward move. There was a scenario where I read something online. I don't even want to feed it regarding Isak, because he has been not playing, let's just say 100% at the moment. I'm not sure what your opinion is. I know Newcastle are still winning games, so they're not too fussed. Like the whole team's contributing. But him himself hasn't looked his, you know, I'm not sure if
he hasn't. We don't know if it's form or there is some news on him having some surgery after the season ends.
Yeah.
But you see, we don't know how much that affects, right? We're all guessing. So does it mean that, he's not even able to lift his leg? No, of course not. He's playing, he's starting, he's passing fitness tests. So there's a little bit of form thing. But I feel like people will use the surgery thing and just say, "Oh, Isak is useless. I need to sell him for Watkins," because they can't do any other move for Watkins.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I feel that I don't want to fuel the narrative to say, "Yeah, you can sell Isak because he's an easy sell for Watkins because he's having surgery." Well, there's 2 more weeks. He's home to Everton. Everton with zero motivation. They'll put it, they have their final game at the Goodison this week, this weekend, and then the next week, game week 38, they have nothing to play for, literally nothing. So Newcastle could score 3 goals there.
I'm with you, and I think the motivation is so strong. And Newcastle, I think we spoke about it last week. Newcastle was so good; like they've really impressed me this season. That's one thing I take away from Eddie Howe and that Newcastle team. When they're on it, they're amazing. Like really, really good team. So for me, I've got an easy move. I've got the money in the bank. I don't need to contemplate selling Isak. So it's Mateta. Now the issue I've got here in this team is well, you've got the same issue. Is the Crystal Palace players that I'm starting. I'm not quite sure what to do. With the deadline, we've got a unique scenario where we've got our deadline tomorrow. Yet they're going, you know what I mean? The FA Cup fixture first. So we really are in random territory regarding minutes, rotation, injuries. What's your gut feeling with this? I've currently got Eza starting because he's been such a good performer recently.
I mean, my gut feeling is firstly that it's nobody knows. So that we should be open about it, right? So it's because it's so dependent on the result. And not only the result of the FA Cup final, it's also dependent on how long the FA Cup final plays. So let's do scenarios, right? If Palace lose, which bookies odds will suggest is the likelier scenario. So if Palace lose in under 90 minutes or in 90 minutes, not in extra time, then I think they put out a reasonably solid team. I think Eze starts. I think Muno starts. I think Mateta is the one that could be at risk. Even Sarr could start. So that's the scenario, which is probably the likeliest. Maybe let's say 40% probability. Now let's go into a scenario where Man City still win, but it goes to extra time. Let's call it another 20% probability. Then you could see more rotation because some Eze and others have to play 120 minutes, and that becomes a problem. And then he doesn't want to risk injury because league is done. So in that case, again, I think the minutes are slightly more at risk. Now let's go to the 40% scenario on Palace winning. No one's playing. I don't think anyone's playing.
Why do you think no one will play if Palace win?
They have not won a trophy ever or for years. I mean, for decades. So imagine the mood on Saturday and Monday when they've won a trophy. I mean, there's going to be parades, there's going to be interviews, there's going to be parties, there's going to be alcohol, and their game is on Tuesday. So I'm not saying nobody will play. Like, of course, they will have to put out a team, but it's going to be a heavily rotated team. Could Eze play? Yeah, of course. But you're throwing a dart then on whether your player is starting or not. This is the scenario. So all I'm saying is, in the most likely scenario, Eze starts, but there are scenarios in which he doesn't start, and that's where I am with Eze, Sarr, Mateta. Mateta the highest at risk. Then I think Eze and Sarr together, and Munoz I think at lowest and equal with Henderson because Munoz has started every game.
Yeah.
So Munoz is less so for risk.
So do you think Man City are less impacted by this scenario, Pras? For example, they're still challenging for the Champions League. So even if they win or lose, they have to go fairly strong for their next fixture.
They do, but then they have a squad, right? So again, for Man City, I think they will go strong in both because they have 18, 19 good players, right? So Grealish could play as a 10 in one of the games. De Bruyne could play as a 10 in one of the games. Foden could start on the right in one of the games. Marmoush can start on the right. Haaland can play both games because he hardly touches the ball in the game and hardly runs. On the left, you could play Savio, you could play Doku, you could play Bernardo. So they have enough players that they will go for it in both the games, regardless of if they win. Like if you ask any Man City fan, pretty sure that they want to win or get into the Champions League more than they want to win the FA Cup.
Definitely.
So that's why I feel with Man City, it's easier to predict minutes, but also there's a risk with them.
Fair. And I'm in agreement with you as well. I think Man City ones is a bit more, I think it's a bit more better, more motivation. Where Crystal Palace is one, I haven't got a clue. I've currently got these two starting. Mateta's leaving the team. I mean, there was a chance I was thinking I could leave him and have 2 transfers for the last game week. I was thinking that, but then that means I won't have Watkins. I think the easy move-ins, Mateta to Watkins, but then who would you bench from the midfield 5 I've currently got starting?
Well, it depends on what you want to do next week as well. So if let's say you say I have to get Saka next week, right? Then you have to downgrade Mateta. You have to get somebody like Vardy, and then you get Eze to Saka next week. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. It's not just about whether Watkins is the better move. Next week, what is your move?
Yep. I was thinking of Vardy this week as well. A little bit more annoyed, even though I could just bench him. It's not an issue. I was quite annoyed that he's not going to play game week 38. I don't know if you
Yeah,
read that as well.
I
Which it
did. I
seemed, I
did.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a bit. I can see why, but that's fine. I was considering. I think he's a perfect differential. Surely they get him that 200 goal in that fixture. I mean, they're going to go out of their way to do that. But that is actually a very good point. How would I get there for Saka next week? Because that fixture, even if I say
That
it
is if
now,
you want Saka, you know.
well, I mean, it's going to be hard to avoid him. I was going to say to you, I mean, maybe depending on this week's results. And as I said to you, I'm being honest. It's strictly the mini leagues I'm chasing, the 2 mini leagues. Maybe it depends on that I go for it. They're both mini leagues. I can imagine the top guys will have Saka. The FOMO will be too huge for me to go without him. So that is actually a very good point. How would I get there? There was also a transfer I should run by you as well. That remember I was speaking about Palmer. I was thinking of doing a -4, willing to do it, or maybe even get rid of Salah, but I'm not comfortable with getting rid of Salah. I sort of trapped this week. That's the only move I could think of. Mateta to Watkins or Mateta to Vardy. Couldn't really see anything else unless I take a hit. I have to take a hit to get Palmer in.
I don't feel taking a hit for Palmer is needed, right? I mean, unless you think he's like the outright best captain this week, which I think he's okay. He's a captain option. But to take a hit at this stage, I don't know. Like you'd need Palmer to score a brace and Watkins, the popular captain, to basically blank for it to be really, really worth a nitro boost to your rank. But the opposite can also happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look at Palmer's. Let's have a look at Palmer's attacking, or the team, Chelsea, I should say. We haven't got 2.45 potential against Manchester United. But you tell me, what team is Manchester United going to put out this week?
It's going to be strong. Like, I think it's going to be a strong team, I think, from both Spurs and Man United. So let's put that to bed first in terms of, is it going to be the kids? No. I think both managers have said that they want to get rhythm before the final. Amorim actually said today that the lineup is not going to be dependent on the team at all, the final. But this is all hearsay, right? They will still, both Man United and Spurs got critical injuries in the last Premier League game they played. Man United got Euro injured, and these guys get Kulusevski injured, Spurs.
Yeah.
So there's always that fear that if you're putting these players out, what are the instructions you're giving them? Are you going to take them off after like half time or 60 minutes? I don't think the key players survive 60 minutes. In fact, I think especially Spurs could do this thing of, starting one centre back like Romero and then halftime putting the other centre back, almost like, a preseason friendly, like giving them some minutes, but not really giving anyone, like Son, he said, needs some minutes. He said some minutes. He doesn't mean a start.
Yeah.
In fact, up front, they're very light, like Johnson, Solanke, Son would be their front three, or maybe Richarlison. Maybe two of them start and two of them come on for the other. But we're all guessing. But I think they're relatively strong. But bottom line is they're still rubbish, both of them.
Agree. And someone just said, "What am I drinking?" It's only water because I said Palmer. A lot of people, I've got a lot of, even in my video, I've had a lot of comments saying I've lost it, even considering Palmer. So I think some in the chat I say the same thing.
What's your Palmer hit? Tell me again. Who would you hit out? Salah to Palmer or?
No, I think what was I looking at? It might have been Eza, believe it or not. Was it Eza out, Palmer, and then is it Mateta to Vardy, something like that? I can't remember.
See, Palmer is away to Forest next week. What do you think?
It's not great. Forest for the Champions. They're going to make. I mean, that could be such a huge game. It's not ideal. And Palmer this season, Palmer's only realistically appealing this week. And even then, when you say Man United is going to play a pretty strongish team, Chelsea, no Jackson. Someone just said it in the comments. There's a very good point. I don't know about you, Pras. I find he plays much better when he's got that outlet. I know Jackson gets criticised a lot for not being an immaculate finisher, but he runs the channels so good, occupies the back four, just gives Palmer that extra time. So I think that's a big loss as well. But I know I've noticed I've spent loads of time on my team. I think we should talk about your
No, it's
team.
fine. It's fine. I mean, you still haven't committed on what is your plan? Like, what are you going to do?
I'll be honest with you. As right now, it would be Mateta to Watkins, all right? And bench, it's either Elanga or Rodgers, which I don't sit well with me. But I like both of them. I like that midfield. Do I just go against Watkins? I've got a feeling my mini league rivals will go him. I think the majority of the engaged managers are going to go there. So I'm stuck. You're asking me for at the moment. I'm not sure. I could do it. It'll be Mateta, Watkins, and then drop one of them, either Alanga or Rogers. Drop them to the bench.
And then that would leave how much money in the bank?
Let me test that now. Let's have a look.
So people going Vardy in the chat, like we talked about it, but just to clarify, Leicester have put out an announcement today that this will be his final game for the club. Not just final home game, final game for the club. So he's not going to play Game Week 38. Just FYI. You can still buy him and bench him, but it's just you're giving yourself one more headache, because I think you should have 8 starting players in 38, because random stuff happens. You will get a leak. Saka has not traveled to Southampton or something like that, and then everyone's panicking. Or Salah has taken an early break. Now with Liverpool, it's a different thing. By the way, your manager basically, didn't he say that we're partying, we're still celebrating, but Game Week 38, home to Palace, we'll be there.
He said we will be there. But I got this funny feeling that still expecting at least a good 45 minutes against Brighton. And we should mention them because... sorry, let me answer your question before we move off. If I done Mateta to Watkins, it leaves me 1.7 million in the bank. Okay? That's what it would do. That doesn't leave me enough to go straight to Saka, though, unfortunately. It would leave me, if I sold Eze, it leaves me 8.5. Nah, no chance. You can't get to him. I could go Martinelli, something like that. Last game week of the season, I could go there. That's an option. Could go there.
I mean, I would consider a little bit as it to Bowen if you wanted to go against Mateta. Play Rogers. I mean, this is all, we're just brainstorming, but I feel like some weeks what happens is we get so fixated on one move because we see everybody buying Watkins that we forget that there's other picks actually scoring points every week. And I don't have Bowen, but I've been shouting Bowen for 4 weeks, and I'm not the only one. He's been a good pick. It's just other things have come up. So people have done other moves. Mamouche has been benched or something else happens, and you just don't, or Mbumo becomes a priority over Bowen. So people who've had Bowen have enjoyed all his points. So if you really wanted to go different, have a look at the other person's team. If they're going to do Mateta to Watkins,
I think so. Yeah. So maybe would you be comfortable?
Do Elanga to Asensio. Like there's so many other moves that you can do that also have decent upside that you could consider a little bit.
But I think one of the guys, I marked Elanga out as a potential differential for this game week fixture against West Ham. I think it's not too bad. You don't fancy him?
Who? Sorry, say that again.
Elanga. No, sorry, I was going to say Elanga.
Elanga's fine.
He's fine. He's
fine.
Against West Ham, I like him. Yeah. So then there is a possibility I leave 2 transfers, which is pretty boring. It don't sit good, and attack game week 38, and then I will know how many points I need to close. Now it's a strange way of playing. Normally, I don't ever watch anyone in any mini leagues. I just play my own game and see where I end up. But in this scenario here, there's no.
Last couple of weeks, that's the time because you need to know what is how you can push, So I think that's fine. So I think leave. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say to you, just to make you up, Pras, you know what they've been doing? These 2 guys in particular, they watch my deadline stream, and they've been doing. So one of them, even when I messed up in Captain Salah, they done the same thing. So I caught them out. They were doing mind games. They were playing chess basically, but it backfired on them. So I'm hoping this game week that doesn't materialize.
Yep. So. By the way, Nikolai has made a point in the chat that Martinelli was injured in training. No, that's not the case because after that, they played a friendly game and he was playing. So unless Arteta says something, there's no problem with Martinelli. In fact, they have a lot of players coming back. We can do Heroics one. He's on bench boost and he's got O'Brien. Moyes didn't have his press conference today, did he? We'll find out tomorrow. O'Brien should be fine. I don't think you should ask this question now. So let's assume that he's fine. Then, of course, you don't need to do anything. If you're definitely on bench boost and he's confirmed out, not like he may or may not be playing or whatever. If he's confirmed out, then sure, if you want to take the hit, take the hit. But remember, not many defenders will score you 4 points, right? So you could actually be -2 on or -3 on your hit because the defender you get in scores 1 point. So
and which defender would you go for? Only 2 fixtures left. Who would you go for? It's tricky, isn't it? Because we've not considered defensive transfers.
I mean, I would just take another Everton one because I assume that they have somebody in 30, like 38. There's some very good defenses already for which people own. Like
Yeah.
Arsenal have, so many people have double Arsenal defense. They play Southampton. Many people have Kirkes. Many people have Wan-Bissaka. They play Leicester and Ipswich. Even the other ones, the other popular ones, Newcastle are home to Everton. So they're all decent.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think we should finish off on my team. And before we go to your team, can everyone do me a favor that's watching live? First of all, thank you for joining us. And it's quite late, but also like the stream. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe.
Last question to you. Last question to you.
Okay.
If you don't get Watkins, who's your captain?
All right. I think at the moment it's actually on Salah. Yeah, that's not just an error. I think Liverpool are partying. I know this. I know Liverpool on the beach, and I've seen some funny memes of which team's going to be put out. I still think against Brighton there'll be chances, and I think Salah's surely got to get that assist and the goal scoring record. Can't just rely on thrashing Crystal Palace in the last game of the season. So I think there will be some form of effort, some form of professionalism. So yeah, I'm thinking Salah. There's not much really other options in my team. I don't like Isak against Arsenal. The Brentford boys, maybe.
Bumo is pretty good.
And Brumo's very good. And Brumo, I think this week we've got like a week where there's going to be quite a lot. Watkins might be the obvious one. After that, in Brumo, if we knew Eze was starting the way he's been recently, he's an excellent captaincy. I nearly captained him last week.
I just don't trust it, man. Like you and I, we've played football after having a night out on a Saturday and then playing football on a Sunday. Your legs are heavy. Yeah. You're out of breath now. Of course, I'm not comparing ourselves to Liverpool players. But what I'm saying is Brighton are a very, very aggressive team. Like they run, they press. I'm not saying Liverpool lose, but it's not gonna be. It's gonna be like a 2-2 maybe.
2-2. Then surely Mohamed
then Salah's fine.
Involved.
Yeah, Salah's fine. But I'm not feeling it as much. Like I would say, Bumo is actually a little better. Look, their expected goals are more. Brentford's expected goals are 1.9, Liverpool are 1.75. It's purely, the markets always reflect on the beachness, right? This is why I love market odds. So, have a think. I think captaincy is going to be a big thing this week. And, you can also hope to get lucky. Mo is Mo. Like, he can score a 17-pointer. Maybe that's your edge.
That is what I'm actually, that's what I was thinking. I think this is one of the few weeks where he's not going to be, what do you reckon his EO's going to be?
It'll still be 100.
You reckon still? Yeah.
Some sold him last week and he was still 90 odd, if I remember correctly, 92. And some will captain him this week. So I think it'll be 100, 110 again. Isak will be lower because a lot of people are considering selling Isak.
Yeah, but don't sit right with me captaining Isak this week.
Oh yeah, away to Arsenal, you can't do it.
It's not great. But we'll talk more. I'm sure we're going to mention captaincy a bit more when it's in your team. So you take us through your team, Pras, please.
Yeah, my team is very straightforward, man. I could have done this in like 2 minutes because my team, I feel, picks itself. Like apart from Raya and Areola, which was a little bit of a decision, but market odds are like 5% in favor of Arsenal. I'm going to play my boy Konza over Livramento and Kivior, and I'm going to play Munoz and Guardiola like yourself. Then Salah, Bumo. I'm going to be there for De Bruyne's final game for Man City. Of course, I have doubts. We talked about the Man City thing. So if you haven't heard that, go back to the previous section where we talked about Man City's risk. But it's his day. He's on. Have you seen the thumbnail or the match day program where he's wearing the crown?
Yeah.
So, these things are all narratives, right? Aguero was benched in his final game. So it's not like De Bruyne is guaranteed to start, but I think the upside is there. And he's my little sweet spot for Saka next week. So I'm going to keep De Bruyne. I could easily do De Bruyne to Palmer, but I would rather keep De Bruyne this week. I'd play Rodgers, Isak, Wissa, and Mateta becomes Watkins' captain. So that's basically quite a straightforward move. It's been planned for a very long time. So
even the captaincy was planned, or just the move?
I was planning to captain him earlier because it was going to be a Sunday game, right? If it was a Sunday game, I would say it's a triple captaincy shout. But they've moved the game from Sunday to Friday, which means, Spurs will at least try. They will pretend to try. Yeah. So on Sunday, they won't even have tried. I'm pretty sure the 15 who travel or the 18 who travel wouldn't even travel. Like, I would think they would play genuinely under 18s or under 21s. But now
Agreed.
they will play a decent enough team. But yeah, Watkins in has been the plan throughout.
And Saar, first bench, Saar versus Rogers, no contest for you.
Saar versus Rogers is not a contest. Saar versus Isak was a bit of a contest. Originally, I had Saar playing because Isak was away to Arsenal. But the more I see Arsenal are having some injuries, Rice, although maybe he's back, I'll assess. But I think Isak is just better, man. Like I'm also now excited to see like people are selling Isak, so maybe we get some points of him. He's just a class player. Like I was in the Carabao Cup, I was actually at the Emirates when I watched Newcastle thrash them 2-0. Isak could have scored 2-3 goals.
Yeah.
So he wants to prove to himself in to the Emirates crowd as well, right? So these are all stories we build, but I think he'll be well up for it.
And not exactly. Arsenal have been conceding goals as
Yeah.
well. It's not been watertight recently. So yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. And if you wasn't captaining Watkins, who is your second favorite captain then?
Boom or Salah, or even
If
Palmer.
you're okay, I was about to ask you actually, who would be your most? If you're chasing, who would your captain be?
I mean, the lowest EO will be Palmer.
Yeah,
Palmer will be like 20% EO.
and Watkins for you is coming in, no problem. You planned it long time ago. Would you still do that move for a -4 or not?
No.
'Cause-
Like if I couldn't afford Mateta to Watkins,
Yeah,
it's tricky, man.
it is, isn't it? What would you do? Because there are some people in the chat and just all around that would be in that scenario.
I mean, honestly, because I'm so high on Watkins, I'd do Isak to Watkins. But it's very easy for me to say because I'm not doing it. But because I would need the funds to do De Bruyne to Saka as well. So I don't want to stretch my budget and then afford Watkins by downgrading somebody, take a hit, and then next week not be able to afford De Bruyne to Saka.
Yeah.
Because Saka is a genuine captaincy shout next week for those chasing. Many will just go Salah cap, but for chasers, I think Saka cap is great.
I think he'll be highly owned by then, by that game week. Yeah, when people see the fixture, Southampton.
Yeah, you say that, but not everybody. So what you're saying is the mass popular transfer in this week is Watkins, and the mass popular transfer in next week is Saka. But it's not that easy. Like you can't do it without a hit.
Yeah. But I would take for that move there. I think I would take a hit. My confidence. I would. I took a hit last week, so I would take a hit for that move. I think for the Saka move against Southampton at the Emirates to try and redeem. You're not redeeming.
No, it's not at the Emirates.
Oh, it's not. Is it away?
It's St. Mary's.
Okay, maybe it lessens it a little.
So the question is a very good question from Varfel. If you had to prioritize one, either Saka next week or Watkins this week, who would you prioritize?
Saka. No. Watkins, because you get 2 games out of him.
That's what I think. And you can captain Watkins. Saka, you can still captain Salah next week. I don't think Saka is the outright. Watkins is not the outright either. But with Salah, there's a lot of uncertainty, man. Or with Salah? Liverpool, I should say. With Liverpool this week.
What, for this week?
Yeah, they're only coming back from Dubai tomorrow. They're still in Dubai.
I know, but what that might relax them and they play the football of their life. You saw against Arsenal the first half, Pras, like they showed what the capability is still there. Second half, fair play, Arsenal showed their pride and turned up and turned the game around. But first half, it could have been 4 or 5. Literally, it was just oof. And if they do even 45 minutes against Brighton.
And to be fair, the game is on Monday, right? So, I mean, they will have adequate time. It's Monday, 8 p.m. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, look, I mean, Salah is fine. And it's a Monday night game, so maybe it's fun as well.
I think we've already covered your team, my team. There's no other decision. Right. You're pretty set, Pras. So if there's any other questions we need to answer.
Dude, my whole season is set because I'm going to do De Bruyne to Saka next week, and that's it.
That's... my one's the one. This shows really Mo's deadlines, Mo's dilemmas.
No. Come on, we talk about everyone. Like, okay, Eddie has a question. If you can't get Saka next week, what about Martinelli? I think it's fine. Like if Martinelli is fit, then, or by the way, consider like even a Kluivert or a Semenyo. Like see where Bournemouth is going in terms of rotation. Like I don't like that one game Semenyo was benched, one day Kluivert was benched. You don't know who's going to be benched in game week 38, but otherwise they're home to Leicester. And
Yeah.
that's a good fixture as well. So targeting Bournemouth or Arsenal next week is going to be nice.
I'm in agreement. And
Oh,
Brad
how do
asked
we-
to sell Isak or Cunha. If you had to get Watkins in, which one would you sell? Isak or Cunha?
I'd sell Cunha. I changed my mind. On the Wire pod, Zoff asked the same question.
Yeah.
And on that pod, I said sell Isak. But I've changed my mind here because Cunha's minutes just look dodgy, man.
Cunha, yeah, I think he's looking like his time's done, isn't it? It's starting to
Yeah.
show his time's done there. That the manager probably will give him 45 minutes. I'm just checking some more questions here quickly before we finish off. Brighton will beat Liverpool guaranteed. Oh, Glenn, very confident there.
David is saying, do you take a -8? I've stopped reading the rest of the question. No. You don't need to take a -8. That's it.
FPL Freddie and Bumo's my captain. Yeah, fair play. That's Price said it's a pretty safe captaincy. I'm just trying to check because I haven't missed any other questions because I've Mo, you just need to bluff them. Freddie. I think we are good, Paz. We've covered everything here, to be honest. I'm going to just quickly look at this and see if there's any other fixtures, any FOMO of any plays that we don't own that could actually go off this season. I don't think there is. You've already got the double the best 2 City players, haven't you, with KDB and stuff. The Chelsea one, even though that fixture, I think max people will have is Palmer. No one else to really target in that fixture.
People can
Maybe
go Madueke, Neto, Enzo. But if you're buying, I would rather buy a Villa mid, like a Sensi or Rodgers.
Yeah, totally agree. And Brentford as well, and Arsenal.
Vissa and KDB to Evanilson and Saka next week. It's fine. Yeah, Evanilson is home to Leicester. Saka's, but it's for a hit. I don't like that, man. What if Vissa scores a brace?
You'll be pained. Losing Wissa just doesn't sit right, does it?
I don't know when a -4 in Gameweek 38 worked out.
What's that? Say that again.
I don't know when -4 taking a -4 in Gameweek 38 worked out. Like, of course, you can get lucky, but if you think about expected points and whether you will make it up in a single game week, it's very hard to do that in a single game. Like KDB and Vissa can both score points, and Evanilson and Saka can also be benched. So
yeah.
Anyway,
I've seen another 2 questions, and I think we're gonna finish off. So one of them was, would you punt captaincy on Roger? I mean,
no.
Roger's stuff. No, you wouldn't do that. No.
The problem is he's not playing centrally with Asensio playing, so he's playing off the right. So his goal creation, his chance creation maybe is slightly higher, but his goal and him being closer to goal is lower. So I don't love him. If you have him, it's fine, and I think he has good potential, but I don't think he's like a captaincy choice for sure.
Fair. And the other question I saw as well, and I thought it was actually a decent one. De Bruyne to Palmer for captaincy. And hello, Harry. Good to see you on here, mate.
Hello. De Bruyne to Palmer. Yeah, go for it if you want to do that. I think there is, like, I could do it as well. Like, I'm not doing it because I'm chasing somebody who uses FPL review, and that's the template move on FPL review. So I know they will do that. So I don't want to get Palmer. But he's fine. If you're based on your objectives, if chasing rank is more than anything else, then getting Palmer and captaining him will get you the highest upside because he'll be the lowest owned.
Yeah. Oh, so you are chasing someone, even at your incredible heights. You are chasing someone.
I'm 22.
Is it Harry? Is it Harry by any chance?
Harry is not ahead of me, is he?
I don't even know. Actually, I know you two are flying. So
I don't think so. No, no, Harry. I'm not fed up with you panicking in my DMs. It's all good. I mean, for the record, because he's brought it up, I told him not to take the -8 last week. He told me, "Is it sensible to take -8?" And I was very clear. I said no. But I mean, his bench boost worked out anyway. So
his bench boost was incredible. It's just a shame the starting 11 didn't perform as well as he wanted. So yeah. Where's the question? Assistant manager. So Todd, some of us have obviously we've used our selfishly, so we've not considered as much assistant manager. I've put something on the screen here, just some of the assistant manager projections. Sorry, so you can see for yourself. If you're chasing, I think there is a couple. They're highlighted, is it?
Potter is good, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Hurstler is good, but can you back against Liverpool that easily? I don't think I can.
Well, if they're on the beach, they're all, like you said, drinking, partying. Even the manager's partying in Ibiza. I saw the clips there. Even he.
Yeah, it's just the form thing, right? With Forest, genuinely, there's a case of saying that Forest are on the down, West Ham are on the up. They could win their final home game against Nottingham Forest, and they will have to go for it. Remember, like if let's say it's 1-1 on the 80th minute, Forest can't sit
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, I think a lot of us. Let me see if there's any. What I think we have one more question. Pras versus Ben. Someone said. Oh,
I mean, the 22 points is Ben Krillin, yeah.
That's what it is. God, this is like.
I mean, it's nothing. He knows, right? I've chatted with him. I've told him.
No, of course, yeah. It's all friendly, like challenge competition, isn't
And
it? You're
he's
playing to
confirmed to
win.
me. He's confirmed to me he's getting Palmer and captaining. So it's basically that. Then my move is set.
That's good insight there. When you get top elite managers doing it, it doesn't sound so crazy after all. The Palmer move, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing it for free. He's doing
it for
Eze
free.
to Palmer.
Yeah.
Eze to Palmer, captain for free.
Yeah, fair play. Without a -4, and he's captaining, fully committing as well. Oof.
Yeah, 100%.
I think on that note, Praz, we are going to leave it, mate. We've answered all the questions, all our dilemmas. You're already locked in. I still haven't got a clue. I'm going to sleep on it tonight and see how I end up tomorrow.
Maybe there's a spanner tomorrow. Like, people who are holding transfers, we're all expecting or hoping for something different, right? I mean, I was shocked to see Watkins rise in price last night. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Come on. Like, the only edge right now is to wait for information, not prices.
Yeah.
But anyway, I will not judge.
Listen, guys, on that note, we're going to leave it and wish you all good luck.
Sally's asking what is my move.
Oh,
we are doing a deadline dilemma, and I said it. Mateta to Watkins captain. That's my move.
Did.
So sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's cool. No, I was just saying goodbye to everyone. I'm going to wish everyone good luck on game week 37. Then we see you next week for the last game week. Okay, game week 38. I can't believe it. It's finally here.
Really, almost there.
Yes. See you later, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Like and subscribe.